The lights are behind you and the officer is at your window. One friendly answer could wreck your whole defense. Have you ever talked too much during a stop? Yes or no? You know the kind of question I mean. The officer leans in and sounds calm. Where are you coming from? Where are you headed? Have you had anything to drink tonight? Do you know why I stopped you? It sounds casual. It sounds normal. It sounds like small talk. But here is what most people do wrong. They think being nice means answering everything. They think silence looks guilty. They think one quick answer will make the stop end faster. Most times it does the opposite. One answer becomes 3 more questions. Then those answers stop matching perfectly. Now you look nervous, unsure, and all over the place. This is exactly where things fall apart. You start feeling the silence because the stop feels awkward. You try to sound harmless. You try to explain too much. You try to talk your way out of it. Most drivers have no idea this is even a thing. A traffic stop is not just about your speed. It can turn into a search for admissions. That means words from your own mouth. Words that can be twisted. Words that can be remembered differently later. Words that can show up in a report. And once your words are in that report, they become a problem. You cannot take them back. You cannot unsay them. You cannot fix them with a better answer later. That is why this matters so much. You do not need to be rude. You do not need to act tough. You do not need to win an argument on the roadside. You need one clear line. You need calm control. You need to know what to say before you ever need it. I have studied real traffic stop situations for a long time. I have gone through body cam footage, court records, and real driver encounters. And I keep seeing the same mistake again and again. Good people talk themselves into bigger trouble. Here is the first move. I call it the main line. This is for that moment when the officer starts fishing right away. Maybe they ask where you were. Maybe they ask if you were drinking. Maybe they ask if you know why they stopped you. Your brain wants to answer because the question sounds simple. Your mouth wants to fill the silence because the stop feels tense. That is the trap. The more you talk, the more material you hand over. Say exactly this. Officer, I choose to remain silent and I do not want to answer questions. That line matters because silence by itself is not always enough. You need to say it out loud. You need to make your choice clear. That protects you better than just staring ahead. It also keeps you from getting pulled into a guessing game. If you guess your speed wrong, that can hurt you. If you guess why you were stopped, that can hurt you. If you deny something the officer thinks they saw, that can hurt you. This line shuts down all of that. It is calm. It is polite. It is direct. It does not accuse the officer of anything. It does not start a fight. It simply tells them you are not playing the talking game. Now, listen carefully. This line does not mean you ignore lawful orders. Lawful means a legal command you still have to follow. If they ask for your license, registration, and insurance, give them. If they tell you to step out, do it calmly. If they hand you a ticket to sign where required, do not argue there. But talking is different from following basic instructions. And that difference can save you. A lot of people say, I have nothing to hide. That is not the point. The point is, you do not know what the officer is trying to build. The point is, nervous people misspeak all the time. The point is, stress makes simple words come out wrong. Your goal is not to sound clever. Your goal is to stop feeding the conversation. That line does exactly that. Calm beats chatter every single time. Now, here's the next one. I call it the paper-only line. This is for drivers who worry they will sound difficult. You may think, if I say nothing, the officer will get mad. So you start mixing 2 different jobs. You give documents, which you usually must do. Then you start giving a life story, which you usually do not need to do. That mix gets drivers in trouble every day. You reach for your wallet, you hand over your papers, then you also hand over details nobody needed. Say exactly this. I will provide my license, registration, and insurance, but I do not want to answer questions. This line is strong because it separates what you must do from what you do not need to do. That matters. A driver usually must identify himself during a stop. In some states, you may also have to give your name when asked. But that does not mean you must explain your night. It does not mean you must admit anything. It does not mean you must answer fishing questions. This line shows you are not refusing the stop. You are not hiding your documents. You're not acting wild. You're cooperating where required. You're just not volunteering extra information. That makes you look steady and controlled. It also helps if the officer tries to make the chat feel friendly. A lot of drivers think friendly means safe. Not always. Friendly questions can still lead to damaging answers. That is why this line works so well. It lets you stay respectful while keeping the door shut. And here's another big one. Do not start explaining after you say the line. Do not add because I watched a video. Do not add because my cousin told me. Do not add because I am nervous. The second you explain your line, you are back in the conversation. Keep it short. Keep it clean. Keep your papers moving, not your mouth. You can be polite without being open for business. Are you seeing how much stronger this makes you feel? And are you learning this with me? Now this next one is where most people completely fall apart. I call it the broken record. Here's what happens. You give your line once. The officer ignores it. Then they ask the same thing a different way. They ask where you were before that. They ask how long you were there. They ask if there is any reason they might smell alcohol. They ask if you mind helping them clear things up. This is not the time to get creative. This is not the time to explain your rights like a lawyer. A quick reminder here. Everything in this video is for education only. It is not legal advice, and I am not your lawyer. If you are dealing with a serious situation, talk to a licensed attorney in your state. Now back to the stop. When the officer keeps circling back, you need one repeat line. Say exactly this. As I said, I am choosing to remain silent. This works because it keeps your position steady. You're not changing stories. You're not getting emotional. You're not debating the officer. You're repeating the same clear choice. That is powerful. A lot of people think they need a fresh answer every time. You do not. A fresh answer usually means a fresh mistake. This line also matters because officers can keep asking questions even after you get quiet. And if you suddenly answer one of them, you may open the door again. So do not bounce back and forth. Do not say you are silent, then start chatting 2 minutes later. That mixed signal weakens your position. Think of this line like a lock on a door. You turned it once. Now you keep it locked. And keep your tone calm. No sarcasm, no eye roll, no speech, just the line. If they ask again, repeat it again. If they ask in a softer voice, repeat it again. If they act offended, repeat it again. Your calm repetition is the whole strategy. You do not need a better line. You need a steadier spine. The person who repeats calmly usually wins the moment. Now here is another move you need. I call it the no search wall. Sometimes the fishing questions are only the setup. The officer chats first. Then they say something like, "You do not mind if I take a quick look, right?" Or they ask if there is anything illegal in the car. Or they say, "If you have nothing to hide, let me check." This is where many drivers crack. They think saying no will make them look guilty. So they say yes because they want to look innocent. That is backwards. Say exactly this. "I do not consent to any search." This phrase matters because consent means permission. If you give permission, you make the search much easier for them. If you do not give permission, they may still search anyway. That can happen. But now you did not help make it easier. That matters later. It keeps your position clear, it keeps the record clean, and it stops you from casually giving away something important. You also do not need to explain why you refuse. Do not say you are in a hurry. Do not say your friend left a mess in the back. Do not say you just value privacy. All of that is extra talking. Just use the line, then stop, and hear me on this part. Never physically block a search, never grab anything, never pull away, never argue with your hands. You can say no. You cannot safely fight the moment on the roadside. If they search anyway, stay calm and remember what happened. The roadside is not the courtroom. The roadside is where you protect yourself first. This one line helps you do that. A closed mouth and a closed door can save you a lot. Is there someone you care about who drives every day and needs this today? And will you share this video with them right now? Now let's finish with the move that ends the extra fishing. I call it the exit question. The stop should not drift forever. At some point, the officer may have your papers back. Maybe they gave the warning. Maybe they gave the ticket. But then they keep standing there. They keep asking about your plans. They keep trying one more angle. This is when drivers stay trapped by politeness. They think leaving would look rude, so they stay and keep talking. That is a mistake. Say exactly this. Am I being detained or am I free to go? That line matters because detained means they are still holding you there. If you are free to go, the stop should end. If they say you are free to go, leave calmly. Do not linger. Do not restart the conversation. Do not ask if they liked your attitude. Just go. If they say you are being detained, then stay calm and stop answering questions. You now know where you stand. That is important. Clarity keeps you from guessing. And guessing is where people talk too much. This line also helps when the stop starts sliding from traffic talk into something bigger. You are not demanding a fight. You are asking a simple status question. That is it. And if things turn serious from there, stay quiet and ask for a lawyer. Do not try to talk your way out once the stop goes bad. That almost never helps. What helps is knowing the moment changed. This line helps you spot that moment fast. You stop floating in uncertainty. You stop trying to read the officer's mood. You stop hoping the next answer will fix things. Instead, you ask one clear question. Then you act based on the answer. That is smart. That is calm. That is control. You do not have to guess your way through a stop anymore. Let's lock this in. First, you learned the main line, which stops the fishing before it grows legs. Second, you learned the paper-only line, so you can give required documents without giving away your night. Third, you learned the broken record, which keeps you steady when the same question comes back wearing a different shirt. Fourth, you learned the no search wall, so you do not hand out the permission you can never take back. Fifth, you learned the exit question, which tells you whether the stop is over or still holding you there. You now know something that most drivers will never know. You're not helpless in that situation anymore. You have lines, timing, and a plan. That is real training. Here's your challenge. Practice these lines out loud tonight, save this video, and if you ever use one, come back and tell me what happened. Stay calm, speak smart, and never build the case against yourself.